This is Mary Collardita, and I'm looking at what is God's will? What does God tell us about Himself through His Word and through His interactions with us? So, I'm going to be looking today at Isaiah chapter 9 and also Isaiah chapter 10 verse 12. So I will read the passages. In Isaiah 9, it states this particular statement 4 times. So something happens, and then God says, "Yet, for all this, His anger is not turned away. His hand is still upraised." So 4 times in chapter 9, the Lord says this statement. Yet for all this, His anger is not turned away. His hand is still upraised. Then we're going to move down to Isaiah chapter 10, verse 12. When the Lord had finished all His work against Mount Zion and Jerusalem, He will say, "I will punish the king of Assyria for the willful pride of his heart and the haughty look in his eyes. For he says, by the strength of my hand I have done this, and by my wisdom, because I have understanding. I removed the boundaries of nations. I plundered their treasures. Like a mighty one, I subdued their kings. As one reaches into a nest, so my hand reached for the wealth of the nations. As men gather abandoned eggs, so I gathered all the countries. Not one flapped a wing or opened its mouth to chirp." So there's 3 groups or persons or God Himself in this. There's 3 entities. One is God, one is Mount Zion and Jerusalem, and then one is the king of Assyria. So what it sounds like is that God's anger is against Mount Zion and Jerusalem, and His anger is not going to turn away. His hand is still upraised. Makes me kind of think of when a kid gets a spanking, with the hand. It's not supposed to do that anymore, but, you raise your hand to spank and discipline your child, and it should be because you love them and they have done wrong, and they need to know that you do not do wrong. Wrong will lead you to destruction, both in this life and in the life to come. So you do not want to do wrong. You want to repent. So God's hand is upraised, and He's going to finish His work. He's not going to relent. 4 times He says, my anger will not turn away. God's anger, if you're a good parent, I know there are self-centered, domineering, narcissistic parents out there, leaders and employers, those who are over other people. But if you're a good parent, let's stick with a parent, your anger is against sin